r/ask Reddit. Who is your most hated TV character? Joffrey. I mean, props to the actor for making him such a little shit, but I really couldn't stand him on GOT. I feel the same way about Cersei and her actress Lena Headey. She did such an amazing job at making her such a horrible person. Too bad the entire last season her only job was to look smug and hold wine. The man in Fullmetal Alchemist who fused his dog and daughter together. Shao Tucker can get ducked. Kaylau. That bald-headed beach does nothing but teach children that throwing temper tantrums and whining 24/7 gets you whatever you want. Kid's a freaking monster and the show should be banned. I think it's mainly his parents' fault though, because they never discipline him. Not once does he ever get punished. Also his voice. It's the human equivalent of a fork scratching a plate. What's with Jimmy Pesto in Bob's Burgers? He's a complete a-hole with the maturity of a 7-year-old. Also, what was with that episode where he and Bob were in a game show and Jimmy won a car because he cheated and then Bob changed his tire for him? That made me so mad. He got no consequences at all. Also, his pizza sucks. I've heard it said that Jimmy resents Bob since Jimmy is clearly divorced and is not very good at relating to his eccentric children. Whereas Bob is very happy with his family despite being less successful than Jimmy and being slovenly in contrast to Jimmy's being handsome. There's also the fact that Bob opened up a competing restaurant right across the street from Jimmy Pesto's. Plus in the intro we see rats fleeing Bob's Burgers, which would annoy the shit out of anybody in that neighborhood. I love that Jimmy is just a jerk though. On any other show, by season 9 we certainly would have gotten a couple of lame episodes where Jimmy and Bob team up and temporarily become friends. Deb from Shameless really starts to eat at you after a while. I stopped watching when she purposely got knocked up to trap that guy, then acted like the victim. After doing that she proceeded to do a whole bunch of other stupid shit. Delonda from The Wire. Her husband, a high-ranking member in organized crime, gets a life sentence. She gets money from her husband's associates until they cut her off. Her response? Encourage her teenage son, Naman, to deal drugs so she can keep living like how she's used to. The way she reacts to her son's shortcomings as a drug dealer is how you'd expect any other mother react to behavioral or academic issues. When he gets arrested, she's out of town on a shopping trip. She tells the police to keep him and that she won't pick him up. His teacher, who's a former cop, picks him up and Naman spends the night at his house. The mother tells him to stay the duck away from my son. When he drops him off in the morning, their last interaction is her calling him a bitch, telling him he isn't a man like his father is, and slapping him in the face for messing up a package. He runs off and refuses to go back. His teacher convinces his father to give him custody, which he does. In The Wire, there were so many shit stints. She may not have had Marlowe's body count, but it takes a special piece of shit to push your 14-year-old son to drug dealing just so you can continue to live in comfort. Thank you. I ducking cheered when Weebay went to bat for what was best for his son because Duck Delonda. Kevin Cucumber from SpongeBob. He's such a loser. The ultimate nice guy, Ted Mosby. I just want to settle down and find the right woman. Proceeds to bang as many women as he possibly can. I find Sheldon Cooper repugnant. If anyone in the real world treated his friends the way he does, even Hollywood's worst caricatures of nerds exampled by the rest of the cast, he'd be kicked out of that unrealistically large apartment in the first season. The writing was mostly to blame. He started out as just kind of eccentric and weird, but a well-meaning guy with loyalty to balance out his strangeness. By about season 3 he was just a complete a-hole with no social skills that no sane person would put up with for more than 5 minutes. He was abusive as shit to all his friends, especially his girlfriend, and was just remorselessly ignorant of everything except what benefited him. Shay from Game of Thrones. Don't know what Tyrion saw in her besides the obvious looks. Tyrion, if people find out we are together you will be murdered. Shay, are you ashamed of me? I hate you. Randy on that 70s show. They tried to replace Eric with him, but I just did not like him. Nobody liked him. Ricky Spanish. Leonard's mom in The Big Bang Theory is a bad person. She hates her son and shows him no respect. She constantly berates him and implies his entire life is a waste. She spends multiple episodes pretending to love him so that she can write another book, and it breaks his heart each time to learn he was being used. The penultimate episode of the series is him accepting that he will never have the relationship he wanted, and he chooses to forgive her and still keep her in his life. I think that's absolutely pathetic, and he should not have her in his life at all. I didn't even watch the series conclusion due to how weak Leonard is. Gosh, I hated that episode too. It's the typical propaganda that gets thrown everywhere. Forgive your abusers. Miss me with that shit. He should have gone no contact with her, but they hug it out and she cries for a bit and then all is fine. Years of insults and psychological damage are over because she hugged him? Come on, now. Todd, Breaking Bad. Todd, Community. None taken. Monica's mom from Friends. I know. It's a sitcom and it's played for laughs, but I couldn't stand her. I don't like that type of humor that she brought. The embarrassing, humiliating kind. Constantly putting her own daughter down. It never got a laugh from me, ever. Carol's a lesbian. She's living with a woman named Susan. She's pregnant with my child and they are going to raise the baby. Monica's mom turns to Monica, and you knew about this? That would be Tom Yates from House of Cards. He wasn't evil or anything, but his personality, dialogue, voice, hell even his face, just sucked the life out of me. He is hands down the most boring, pointless, vapid main supporting character I've ever seen in a show or movie. His appearance is the perfect representation for when that show went downhill. Jed Mosley, with his stupid red boots. No Condisville, Babbiddle. Nancy from Weeds after season 1. Damn, what a narcissistic personality. Nancy, how am I supposed to put food on my table if you keep upping my debt? U-turn. Get a ducking job. For me, that was the best line of the whole series. Kai Wynn from Star Trek. Deep Space Nine. Such an insufferable beach. Jerry, he always gets away with bullying Tom. He must die once and for all. Seriously. All Tom is doing is helping his owner keep pests out of the house. I don't remember that episode of Parks and Rec. Polly from Riverdale. She can duck off straight to hell. TBH, Riverdale's gotten so overdramatic and stupid now, but I refuse to stop watching it. The stupid fly in Breaking Bad. Piper Chapman. Terry, Mr. Schuster's wife, from Glee. Good actress, but her character made my blood boil. Connor in Angel. That beach-ass kid was the most annoying duck I've ever encountered in a TV show. Even worse than Dawn in Buffy. His constant whining and moodiness and why I hate my dad, like, no. Just stop. How the Duck did a series that got its start writing about teenagers managed to get so bad at writing teenagers. Like, when Buffy and Willow were 16. They managed to write them as whole people with dreams and values and intelligence. But then Dawn comes along and they forget that teens have any thoughts or emotions except for angst. Baron Corbin could be a monster. Instead, he's just a gigantic beach. No disrespect to the actual guy behind the gimmick. Very rarely does wrestling get brought up among established TV characters. I like a lot of the performers WWE has. Their writing leaves a lot to be desired, though. Right now, it would have to be Serena Joy from The Handmaid's Tale. Just as you think she's actually starting to show some humanity, she ducks it up again. The dong cop that tried to ruin House's life. Yes, House was a dong to you in the clinic. Move on. I have never hated a character more than I hated him. Maria de la Guta from Dexter. Troy, the Super Mega Force Red Ranger. His acting is bad by Power Ranger standpoints, which is saying something. He played an adaptation of a fan favorite from the source material, Captain Marvelous, but instead we get nothing but terrible catchphrases, dropped plotlines, and bland unemotional stares. A lot of this can be blamed on the writing, but the characters were so poorly done. I can't believe I scrolled all the way to the bottom and saw Eric Foreman, Ross Geller and Michael Scott all mentioned 3+ times, but not one person mentioned the shittiest TV character ever, and that's the insufferable hypocrite, Alan Harper. I could go on some long-winded explanation as to why he's the absolute worst character, but in short he's a person who will always try and justify their dependence on their brother by belittling them for their less than conventional life choices. He tries to pretend he has some moral superiority over Charlie, because Charlie drinks and has plenty of one-night stands. All the while Charlie goes out of his way to help his brother and nephew through all their hard times, including giving up on the love of his life so Alan could stay, and Alan had not one shred of gratitude. After Charlie died, Alan only got worse. I despise Lou Avery on Mad Men. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.